Welcome back to Drydock Talk with the TSG, a podcast of some extremely unnecessary but mildly interesting commentary on the Space Center. Thank you for joining us once again. My name is Matt, your host. It's been 6 long years since we were last on deck, and I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be speaking to you once again. Whether you're an original listener or brand new to the podcast, thank you for tuning in. Since its launch in March 2019, Drydock Talk had a brief but impactful run before falling victim to the busy schedules of the 2 college students running it. Nathan Young, my co-host, was instrumental in bringing this podcast to life. Together, we sought to record the oral history of the Space Center while discussing the core mechanics of space simulations and flight directing. Nathan was the driving force behind Drydock Talk's inception, and his talent and passion shaped its early episodes. I want to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude for his guidance and inspiration. This episode does mark a change in Drydock Talk. I will be hosting solo going forward. After discussing my desire to start up this podcast once more, Nathan expressed his excitement for the continuation of the series, but graciously declined to return as a host. This reboot has Nathan's wholehearted blessing, and he will undoubtedly return as a guest to share his stories and experiences with all of you. Thank you, Nathan, for everything you've done to make Drydock Talk what it is today. Over the course of making this podcast, I've learned so much personally, not just about the topics we've covered, but also about the power of storytelling and connection. There's actually one story that stands out that it comes from an unreleased episode where I interviewed Lorraine Houston in the new planetarium and the Krista McAuliffe Space Center. She started sharing her memories about the Space Center, about how she started and how she would encourage the kids and how she'd have so much fun with them. And as she started to share her memories of the Space Center, and as I listened, I was reminded of my own awe and excitement when I first walked through the Voyager transporter into the loading hallway and the editing room. It wasn't the layout or the aesthetics of everything, it was all quite dark, but it was the sense that this was something special. The walls seemed to echo with like the countless stories of young imaginations and skilled creators, and just the uniqueness of the place that I was in made it amazing. Lorraine was actually one of the key figures who shaped those stories for me. I remember her being in the classroom portion and throwing little Tootsie Rolls to everybody who got the answers right. It was an honor for me to hear her reflect on her stories, and I hope to find that episode. I've actually lost it, but I hope to find it, edit it, and re-release it. So this podcast going forward exists to capture and preserve these stories. My hope is that by sharing them with all of you, we can each feel the discipline of wonder that the Space Center brings to so many. Moving forward, as I said, this podcast will primarily serve as an oral history of the Space Center and the people who made it what it is today. We'll start with the Space Center's origins in the 1980s and early 90s, and then explore the memories of staff and volunteers over the years after that. We won't stop there, though. You can expect episodes on the evolution of simulators and missions, revealing the creativity behind the tools of storytelling, the best practices for designing immersive simulation experiences, drawing on lessons learned from 30-plus years of staff at the Space Center, and so much more regarding the Voyager concept and its impact on people throughout the world. Eventually, I hope to build a website, a digital museum of sorts, where you can explore old photographs, view original controls, and read the missions that define the Space Center's history and the memories of the thousands of people who heard those stories told. As we embark on this journey, I invite you to be part of shaping Drydock Talk's next chapter. What topics are you curious about? What questions do you have? What do you want to know? What stories do you have to tell? Your input has helped to make this podcast special, and I'd love to hear from you. If you have a story to share or want to help in any way, please contact me at drydocktalk@gmail.com, and stay tuned for updates on voyager-archives.github.io or the Troubadour blog. Thank you so much for joining me for this special episode of Drydock Talk. I couldn't be more excited for what lies ahead. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and feel free to reach out to share your thoughts or ideas, or, just to say hi. Until next time, let's keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep building amazing experiences together. Here's to the next chapter of Drydock Talk.